Hello guys and gals, welcome back. So a few of you have been messaging me regarding these strange numbers I keep mentioning. Everyone said, I love the piano tutorial, but you lost me at when you started saying 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So chord numbers, what the hell are those all about? I'm going to take it right back to basics. This should be a great time to jump on if any of my previous tutorials have lost you. Let's have a look. Right, so let me show you how a track is really made. We're going to take it right back to the basics for now. So we're all familiar with this piano roll, the MIDI roll. Hopefully you know this environment by now. And every track starts with a key. What really is a key? It is our tonal center. It is where home is. It's basically going to be the foundation from which we build our musical structure, like building a house. It is our starting place, our starting note. So what are our starting key options? Right now, most of the world uses the 12-tone system. That's 12 notes to choose from. It's nice and simple. It's the first 7 letters of the English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And 5 of those have sharps, or in-between notes, if you will. A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. For some reason, B and E don't have sharps. Don't ask. The good news is, though, we can use this strange pattern to our advantage. Stick around, I'll show you how we do that later. So we have 12 to choose from. Where do we start? Well, all 12 notes are equal distances apart. If you think of a pizza cut into 12 slices, everything's equal. Doesn't matter. We can start anywhere. If we're starting from scratch and not working with any other musical bits, it doesn't matter where we start. The only time key matters is when you're trying to work with other pieces of music, in which case we need to match both the key and the scale. So that brings us neatly on to scale. Right, so what is a scale? Well, imagine you were only allowed to eat 7 slices of the 12 in that pizza. Okay, scrap that analogy. No one is going to relate to that. If you paid for 12, you eat 12. We all know that. Okay, no, better analogy would be the way a visual artist would choose a color palette. They don't use every single color under the sun. They might choose, for example, just pastel colors to paint a certain mood for the scene, okay? It's the same in music. We choose a smaller set of those 12 notes, usually 7. It's like a rule set. And the advantage is we know those 7 notes will work together. They will synergize together. And depending on the pattern of those 7 notes, that determines our kind of mood, our flavor for the track. Now, unlike key, all scales are not equal. They're all very different sounding. Like how you've probably heard that minor can sound sad and major is happy. That kind of thing. That's an oversimplification, but that's the idea. And if we're working with other music, we need to match both the key and the scale for the 2 pieces of music to fit together. So in a nutshell, if the key is our foundation, then the scale is the structure. It's our rule set, and it creates the flavor and the mood for the track. Okay, so chords. I can finally talk about chords. Hopefully I have emphasized how important the concept of a key and a scale is. As long as you can grasp the concept that we have a starting point and then a pattern of notes thereof, and that governs the rules for the entire track, then everything else after that becomes nice and easy. Right, so how do chords work? Now we have the structure. It's really easy. So in front of us, we have the scale of A minor. These are the 7 notes that are in A minor. Obviously, our root key, our starting note, is A. These are the 6 notes. A minor just happens to be all the white notes starting on A. That's why we use it. I'm sure regular viewers of the channel are falling asleep right now. I always use A minor for simplicity, but there's a great reason. So when I talk about if a track has a chord structure of, for example, 1, 5, 6, 5, it's just that I'm taking these notes of the scale and we number them upwards. Obviously, note 1 is A. That is our starting key. A is 1, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so on. So a track that has a chord structure of 1, 5, 6, and 5, for example, just simply means it has chords starting on note 1, note 5, note 6, and note 5 of the scale. Obviously, we build our chords like this. A typical chord contains note 1, 3, and 5 relative to its starting note. Or as I like to say, press 1, miss 1, press 1, miss 1, press 1. So if we build our chords, staying to the white notes because we know we're in A minor and that's all the white notes. For example, here, press 1, miss 1, press 1, miss 1, press 1. These would be the chords of 1, 5, 6, and 5 in A minor. So if you're asking, why don't I just name them by their chord names like A minor, E minor, F major, E minor? And the answer is that's just much harder to memorize. If I just give you the chord names for 1, 5, and 6 in A minor, then you only know the chord names for 1, 5, and 6 in A minor. If you want to memorize the chord names of any of the other keys, just talking about minor alone, you're going to have to learn 11 other groups of 3 chord names just for the rest of the other minor keys. Whereas if you learn it in relative terms, because numbers are relative, right? 1, this is 5 away from 1, this is 5 up. The bonus to learning it as relative distances, i.e. numbers, chord numbers, is that now you know not just 1, 5, and 6, but any of the 7 chords in any minor scale. How is that, you ask? Well, remember I said all notes are equal distance apart, right? Let me delete our last 5 here. So this is 1, 5, and 6 in A minor. If I wanted to know 1, 5, and 6 in E minor, we just simply do that. And we're done. C minor. There we go. G minor. There we go. I don't have to memorize any chords. The relative distance is all we needed to know. And because we start on A, we know it's minor. Okay, what if we wanted to know 1, 5, and 6 in major? It's simple. We start on C this time. 1, 5, 6 would go there. All the white notes from C make the C major scale. So if I wanted to build the chords of 1, 5, and 6 in C major, we just make sure everything's on the white notes. There we go. That's now 1, 5, and 6 in C major. And because starting on C gives us every major key, I can now see what 1, 5, and 6 in F major would be, in A major, D major. Remember, it's all relative. Okay, so let's look at a practical example quickly. There's a pop piano house thing here. I'll give you a quick example. This is the verse.
I always missed you when you're gone. I missed you when you're gone. I call you on the phone.
Here's our pre-build thing. And we drop with just a bass line.
La, 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 la,
etc., etc. And we have the post-chorus here when the piano comes back in. Okay. So if I told you this track had a chord structure of 1, 5, 6, 5 in D minor, okay, all we have to do to recreate it is we know our 1 minor scale, don't we? So 1, 5, 6, 5 is this. We can build our chords. Make sure everything's on white notes. But this track I'm playing back is in D minor. So I'll just move. So we're on D. Now I know all the chords for 1, 5, 6, 5 in D minor. That's all the chords in this track. See, we got D, A sharp, A. You see, because something else a lot of people don't realize is when I talk about a track having 1, 5, 6, 5, I'm only going to say that if it's the same all the way through. Just like a beat will loop for 4 bars or something like that. A chord structure will also loop all the way through the track. The further back you go in time, this wasn't the case. Chords were a lot more fluid. They changed between the pre and the chorus and the verse, and that sometimes still happens now. But it's very common for the same chord structure to go throughout the entire track. So even though all these sections sound different, let me show you. Here's our verse.
I always miss you when you're gone. I miss you when you're gone. I call you on the phone.
Can you see the bottom notes of the piano here? 1, 5, 6, 5. 1, 5, 6. Whoops. 1, 5, 6, 5. Okay. And then when we get to the main piano riff, look what we have here. 1, 5, 6, 5. Technically, we dip to 1 for a brief moment here, but the overarching structure is a 1, 5, 6, 5. The bass line here, you can see 1, 5, 6, 5. Right then, the mysteries of chord numbers uncovered, the secrets unveiled. I hope that's finally clicked for those who were struggling. If it helped you out, you know what to do. Would you be so kind as to leave a like or maybe a sub? Or certainly comment if you're still struggling or if you have any suggestions for other videos. And until next week, have a good one. Bye-bye.